I'm here with Seros. Congratulations. The pressure is on for Japan today, but you started off really strong. You play Ascension in Game 4 today. How do you maintain focus until then?
厳しい戦いの中で一勝できたと思うんですけども、次のアセンションに向けて、どういった、気持ちで臨まれてますか？
そうですね、僕たちはそのピックの引き出しがすごい大きいんですよね。だから今回結構皆さんからしたら結構特殊な構成に見えたかもしれないですけど、こういったものをもっとたくさん持ってるんで、次のアセンションとの戦いでもその、なんか皆さん驚かせるようなピックができるんじゃないかなと思いますね。
So the strengths of DFM is our champion pools, and our picks may look a little bit weird for everybody who was watching it, but that's the strengths. And for Ascension, we will surprise you guys again.
Love that confidence. Speaking of the champion pick, you played as your main today, Heimerdinger. Was that a comfort pick? Was that about picking a character you know how to play, or was that part of the overall strategy?
ピックなんですけれども、今回メインとされているハイマーディンガーを使ったと思うんですけども、使われた理由っていうのは得意なチャンピオンだったのか、それとも使う上で戦術的な何かがあって選んだのか、どちらでしょうか？
戦術と、両方ですね。僕はもちろん得意ですし、その上で今結構世界中でピックされてますし、メタで戦術的にもその得意ジャンプという意味でも両方の意味でピックしましたね。
I think it's both, I main in the Heimerdinger as well as it is actually one of the champions that's being used widely recently for the current meta. So yes, it's a mix of being the main champion and actually fitting with the meta.
Fantastic. And finally, do you have any words for the Chiefs? They have to beat Ascension next game. What words of inspiration do you have for the Chiefs?
チーフが勝たないとですね、日本が負けてしまう、次の試合でですね、チーフアセンションに勝たないといけないんですけれども、チーフに対して何か言いたいことといいますか、メッセージはありますでしょうか？
そうですね、もちろん勝ってほしい、でも単純に勝ってほしいっていうのもありますけど、やっぱりチーフは昔から国際大会でずっと戦ってますし、メンバー変更もありましたけど、それでもそのチーフっていうそのチームはそのなんか AFM となんていうか昔から仲がいいっていうか因縁があるっていうか、そういったチームなんで、そのルール的にも応援したいんですけど、友達としてでも応援したいですね。
So well, of course we want Chief to win so that we can stay. But Chief, we know that Chief has been playing internationally and been long known for their competitivity. We like to say, have good luck with them. Both as a rival and both as a friends.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much. Good luck for the rest of the tournament. Today is going to be absolutely thrilling, and I'll see you guys on the other side of these highlights.
That is a nice harpoon. Very good prediction. However, now into Azoroveki looking for a flash forward. And a Caspiel will and a great execute coming out of Soup. Big plays coming around. Evie goes for the flash continue. Will be able to get it. Soup dashes into the prison and will be able to pick up one kill. However, Shiro now falling down very low. Already will fall, and that is a 3-kill advantage. This is actually the Karma going for the deep lane. Will blow up Vivid. Now Unifon goes forward, takes care of Caspiel. Shiro's in the front line, will not go down, will actually go golden. Now Ceres is in some trouble, he will get shut down. However, Evie underneath the turret, taking out Azoroveki, and it is just a wash right now. Evie goes over the wall, just looking for Caspiel, will burn the flash, and Unifon goes in and absolutely eats the jungler. Soup now is next on the menu, but with a nice flash will get away. Evie, however, hook shot onto 3 members, and this is an absolute wash. And once again, with their backs against the wall, Detonation Focus Me stand up. They keep the hopes of the region alive, and Japan will pick up their second game.
And the dream is still alive for Japan, with about as decisive a victory as they could hope for against the Hunters. This felt like a different Japan than what we were seeing yesterday.
Yeah, it certainly did. This looked like a Japan that was back to comfort pick. We're back to playing the style of League of Legends they like. And I just like the aggression. I like the fact that they were willing to go early mid-game, really throw the gauntlet. And you saw, 26-minute victory. That's pretty quick.
Very quick indeed. And in that interview, it sounds like the Japanese players have something up their sleeve. Overnight, they have been inspired and they've got a direction going forward. They're in a strange position, though, because they're not only relying on themselves, they're relying on their competitors within their own region, and then they're relying on other regions to do well.
Yeah, and that's a big thing about Rift Rivals, right? It's Oceania versus the Southeast Asia versus the LJL, and I think that the teams that come together, the teams that are willing to share strategies, that are like, okay, they played this style, maybe if you attack it this way, you'll be able to get an upper hand, really will get, you know, the advantage. And I hope that the LJL region learned from day one, learned from day two, and can put on a show in this day three, because you don't want the day to be a wash. You want them to come out really firing.
Absolutely. And for Japan, for this next game, we've got Chiefs versus Ascension. Chiefs need to win. Who are you tipping for this one?
Well, the Chiefs so far have looked very solid. I mean, Ascension as a lineup historically have a couple of players in G4 and Lloyd that would give the Chiefs lineup a little bit of nightmares, you know, some PTSD maybe. But I think that the Chiefs right now, they're at a comfortable meta. Once again, pressure is off for the Oceanic region. We've already made day number 4, so I think that they'll come out with a fun composition, and I expect them to play very aggressive, and it's about whether Ascension can stick with that pace.
Well, I hope for the sake of competition, the Chiefs do take this one out. There is only one way we will find out, and that is to get on with the game and head over to the caster's desk.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. My name is Jake Hipbrain Matthews, and joining me here on the caster desk for Game 2 is Zach Rusty Pie. Let's jump straight into this as Ascension will be taking on the Chiefs Esports Club. Southeast Asia needs to get this win to secure themselves a spot at the Grand Finals, and OPL may be looking to help out their boys from Japan.
Should be only one for Ascension. If they can get their own region across the line, then everyone will be backstage feeling very happy about that one. But the Chiefs will have something to say in this situation. Talking to Swipe, you know, it just feels very anime if they could help LJL get to the finals, maybe get them across the line. I'm sure Swipe is a big fan of that.
Well, let's see who's going to be coming up. Obviously, Ascension is that first team. Rocky in the top lane. Delpane is their jungler. G4 in the mid. Lloyd and Rich is the bot lane duo.
And Spawn even mentions, you know, a little bit of PTSD to be seen from the Chiefs. Well, that is Lloyd specifically, if you remember back to the Raider era of the Chiefs, that double crit with Sivir. That's one thing that'll always burn in the minds of Chiefs fans and teammates alike. This is something that I'm not going to say is the kryptonite of the Chiefs by any means, but that wacky, wild style, that constant aggression that comes out of Ascension could be something.
It's time we do have a look at the LJL's Knights in Shining Armor. Swiper is in the top lane for the Chiefs Esports Club. Babin is the jungle. Ryoma in the mid, and Raisin Destiny in the bot lane.
Showing those pearly whites off Destiny there as well, of course. The bottom lane of the Chiefs, something that doesn't often play the standard AD carry support. If they see opportunities or they find chances to play the likes of the Vladimir, we've seen the Karthus in the OPL from them. Raze can play everything. He's a former mid lane player that went to the jungle, I believe, and then ended up in AD.
And he's been playing very, very well. I mean, we had a little chat in the hotel this morning before we came out here about what players we wanted to be watching, and it was Raze and Ryoma were the two players for the side of the Chiefs you highlighted for me to watch. Also, we got Swiper. We cannot ever forget Swiper. He's been playing so well in this tournament. Gonna have a little look at the picks and bans. Zoe and Morgana, 100% ban rate throughout this entire tournament, along with the Nocturne. And I cannot remember off the top of my head, I've got it written right here, Swain.
There you go, so you don't need me to remind you. All good. Yeah, 4 champions that have seen 100% pick ban rate, 3 of them already in the ban phase. Zoe has been let through quite a few times, as has the Morgana. Blue side is a Nocturne champion. The rest of them are often being seen on the red side, as you can go for the flex picks there in your first rotation. The Chiefs may be considering that. I would be surprised if they banned this way.
Well, going to be that Lucian ban from the Chiefs for the moment. Remember, red side yesterday had 100% win rate. So maybe recognizing, but they maybe are able to give up something and get themselves 2 power picks in that first pick phase.
Yep. Atalia is definitely one that still comes to mind. Strong jungler, Nocturne already removed. You can play things like the Xin Zhao that we saw from the SEA region yesterday as a response, but there was also like 5 different jungle bans thrown into the mix before they considered that. I'm not surprised by this ban from Ascension Gaming. Get rid of Destiny's Engage and you might have a pretty good time.
Now, we saw every team that played versus the OPL yesterday take that on or ban it away from them. They did not want to give that high engage over, knowing this is how the OPL play with this heavy run-at-you team fighting style. It is going to be left open. Chiefs, what are they going to look to ban out? Are they going to look to try and pick themselves up an Ornn, or is Rocky going to get it in the first rotation?
I mean, remember that Swiper can also play the Kled, so they'd be happy to perhaps give over the Ornn and pick it for themselves. The risk is going to be there, and Ascension are not taking that risk right now.
Yeah, Rocky will get his hands on the Swain. Probably going to get given over to Lloyd and put in the bot lane, but first pick for Ascension. nonetheless. Let's see what Chiefs are going to be looking to pick up. Probably don't expect to see that Kled until maybe a little bit later if they're going to pick it up.
Kind of want to know what your opponent top laner is going to be playing. Mundo's still a strong champion to be considered, but Kled can be played as a bruiser into both of them, and Swipe is very comfortable. Camille also going to get locked in here for Babib in the jungle, a very strong dueling champion. Often with that, you'll find the likes of a Karma or a Lulu, or just something that can control the middle lane, whether that's damage or utility, is to be decided by the Chiefs.
Well, taking a long time on all of these pick phases. Want to think out this team comp, want to think this through. We had a little chat backstage with the Chiefs before coming out, and they want to win this. They do not want to go down. Remember, Chiefs are the only team from the OPL who've actually dropped a game this entire tournament.
That's true. Bit of redemption perhaps to be seen from them. Still 6-1 is the entire region, so not feeling too bad as an end result. And they've played a significant amount of games here. They even should have won the game that they did lose, I will say, as Destiny does get one of his strong champions in the Alistar. Rakan removed, Alistar locked in. The last real remaining hard engaged support secured.
Well, just playing perfectly into Destiny's playstyle there with that Alistar. We are going to see Ascension get their hands on the Pyke, though. How does this matchup actually work out, Pyke versus Alistar?
Everyone has different opinions on Pyke, first and foremost. I will tell you that Pyke does not have a good time into Alistar if Alistar has his way in the lane. But if that's a Swain that goes with it, that could be a very dangerous duo. You pull them back with the hook, and you can pull them back a little bit further with the Swain. So that duo, especially with this third lock-in, they are getting that wombo. They're coming at you.
It's all about that wombo combo. Ascension obviously want to go toe-to-toe with Chiefs for the team fighting. One more pick remains for Chiefs before we move into ban phase 2. Vladimir is still left open. Ryoma had a very good game on that earlier on this week.
Yeah, and Raze can play it as well. If you want to go the Vladimir with the Alistar, you certainly could. If you wanted to go Yasuo with it, why not? You know, there's always options available for you once the alley is secured. And for the Chiefs, they're not going to do that this time around.
Going to pick up the Rise. We haven't actually seen that for the side of Chiefs yet, so nice little pickup for them. Going to give them a nice shove as we move later into the game. Gives them a bit of wave clear, great scaling as well.
We've seen some good Rises running around in Rift Rivals, but there's not been a great deal of success for the pick overall in terms of winning the games. Though Rise is still a dangerous champion. He knows the matchup if he goes mid lane, which is most likely where it will be. It's going to be against a Galio, which is very much indomitable, very hard to remove from that lane.
There's going to be the Kled ban, taking that out of the hands of Swiper. Trundle alongside with it from the Chiefs. 2 more bans to go through here. You can see all of the coaches, all of the players really thinking through absolutely every decision that goes into this pick and ban phase, knowing how much is on the line. Ascension still have a chance to make first seed going into the finals tomorrow, and what that gives you is side selection in all of your games.
Certainly does.
In that best of 5 blind relay. Best of 5. Actually very interesting. We'll run that through a little bit later on in the show, tell you exactly what's going to be happening there.
Sure.
It's very unique finals.
Xin Zhao being locked in here as well for the side of the, banned away rather, for the side of the Chiefs, taking it from Ascension. We mentioned this, Southeast Asia, they can play the Xin Zhao. It's a strong champion at dueling, at skirmishing, and that's something that it seems they don't want to do with the Camille Rise 2v2 now that the Galio has been locked in.
Well, that's going to be that Vladimir taken away. Not going to give that over to Raze in the bot lane. Is it going to be that more traditional marksman for the Chiefs? Or is it going to be something a little bit more fruity? And as I say that, Raze is going to lock in the Yasuo. I'm assuming they're going to be sending that there and put the Rise mid, but you never know on this patch.
That's true. This is still a fair assumption. The second you saw the Alistar, we actually mentioned, of course, that the Yasuo can be going into that bottom lane. If you're against the Pyke, it's not too bad of an option as well. You can stick to him very well through minion waves. You've got the engage of the Alistar, so your scaling combo can continue through the entire game as Rocky's gone for something a bit more abstract.
So he's going to go in for the Renekton. It's going to be all about the laning phase. Wants to snowball this game away from the Chiefs Esport Club. Remember that Camille could go jungle, could go top.
But
he doesn't know.
He doesn't know what Swipe is playing.
Yeah, completely
so
blind.
You've locked in Renekton. Last time we saw this, it was immediately a cannon on the opposite side, and that was just a null and void lane. Nothing really happened from it. As Del Payne locks in his final champ.
That's going to be the Graze for Ascension in that jungle. Chiefs looking to round out their comp. These are both hyper-aggressive team comps so far from both Chiefs and Ascension.
Oh,
it's
they're
going to be the
Camille.
Sejuani.
Yeah.
So Camille top lane for Swiper. How does this work out? Renekton versus Camille. Very bruisery, very, like, just want to be scrapping all the time in lane. Who gets the upper hand, though?
It's definitely a skill matchup. All Camille matchups are skill matchups for certain, but there's both reliable sources of crowd control against bruisers to be seen. Renekton's is obviously more targeted. And if you can get under the sweep, under the W and prevent the heals, Renekton will have a pretty decent time there trading against his opponents, but absolutely a skill matchup in the top lane. The Chiefs choose, seemingly for the composition, and to have a tank in the jungle role. They're going to get Babip on that ganking choice. And they're putting the Ryze bottom.
Now, Rusty, you can see the team comps. They're exciting, they're explosives, but having a look at how these teams have played throughout the last couple of days and looking at what you've got on your screen right now, what's locked in for all of these players, how are you feeling about this game? How are you feeling about Chiefs' chance to keep the LGL going?
I mean, there's a couple of things for the Chiefs that you have to be happy about. First and foremost, Ryoma being on the Yasuo. He's an outstanding player on that pick. Will be able to do a lot of work with the team. They've got big combos for their 5v5 as well, especially fighting around those objectives if they can draw Ascension towards them. Ascension a bit more just stock standard bruisers, but they have got a Graze for scaling damage later on. They've got a Pike for pick. I actually just think that their composition's good, but it's very difficult to execute. And once again, that seems to be the case where Oceania can just try and ram it at them. And the other teams of this tournament are picking more delicate comps.
Difficult to execute. I'm going to hold your word on that and see whether or not Ascension can pull this off. It's a statement if you can take a win here over the Chiefs. Not only do you knock the LJL out, but you also shake the confidence of the OPL moving later into this stages of the tournament.
Perhaps the case, and of course, if Southeast Asia are able to make it to the finals, they'll be playing against Oceania, and these may start to become previews of what we'll see tomorrow.
Well, we've loaded through onto the Summoner's Rift. Ascension on that blue side, representing the Southeast Asia, and Chiefs on the red for the OPL.
30 seconds until
So far, of course, just your fan. We haven't seen a lot of level 1 action, not just in this tournament, but in general. There's opportunities to make plays, but it seems like everyone's just going to be super cautious and play it calmly. Swiper is the place that we should be looking first and foremost here, though, Hiprang. Of course, he's had very good Kled performances. He's looked decent on the tanks as well with the Ornn that we saw. This time around, he's got the Camille. Not often seen in the top lane. Usually goes towards the jungle. Some teams in Oceania, though, I'm just going to say Mammoth, will play at top lane more than anyone else, because chippies.
Do like that. Now, you said that not too much action's happening in the early game. Babip was once on the receiving end of some of that early action, and it did actually put him behind.
Yeah, and he hasn't picked a champion that really does do well at getting ahead early, of course, compared to the Graves. When you look at their farming, one goes a lot faster than the other, naturally. But if you go single camp clear from Babip, you'll hit level 3 at a very good pace. Of course, Roma trying to get those 2 stacks to start the wave off feeling a bit better. Come in with a threat more than just stepping up and having a stack 2 times. It's very smart.
Just comes in, gets a little bit of poke with it as well. He's going to be able to pick up all the minions. Gives him a nice little bit of range on that Steel Tempest.
Yeah, G4's shield is magic, and it's very small at level 1. So the more you can poke down a melee champion as a level 1 Yasuo, the better off you start to feel. Level 2, you've got the mobility. You can run around that lane and start to try and outplay him. And note that there is a cleanse on the Yasuo, there is a cleanse on the Ryze, and there's teleports across the board for Ascension. So that early map play and map movements could be in their favor.
This is a nice movement as well from Delphine to move into Babip's jungle and just take away his red buff. Knowing that he has that dueling advantage, knowing that he's just a little bit faster to clear these early campsters. We see a knockout come onto Ryoma. Is going to trade heavily into G4. And G4, hard game on that Talon yesterday. This is the first time we've not seen him play an assassin. Playing that more utility tank for the team here.
I mean, he definitely had a Talon performance yesterday for the record books. Super tragic. There's a nice little trade in that bottom lane. But you're right, he's on the Galleon. He's gone a bit more conventional this time around, and when you look towards their composition, as bottom lane continues to fight, it's usually Pike that seems to be the engage tool you would have to expect here for the side of Ascension, if they're going to hit a combo at all. Otherwise, Galio's ult may not be used in that direction whatsoever. It's more for the kiting and keeping the damage dealers alive.
I'm glad you mentioned the lack of hard engage, really, for the side of Ascension outside of the Pike. If Pike can get inside them, then they obviously can let the Galio ult, you know, Renekton can slice and dice up, but there's not that much kind of going forward available to the side of Ascension outside of that. When Chiefs, they have lots to engage and lots of ways to get Ryoma into the center of Ascension just to blow these members up.
But it's like what we said before, you know, it's not that the Ascension roster doesn't have engage, it's more that they've got pick everywhere instead, and that pick leads to being an engage or leads to being a 4v5, which gives them free things instead, where the Chiefs may consider those 5v5s. But they have got other options here, the Chiefs, to contrast that. Their playbook isn't just a 5-man wombo by any means. It's more so that they've got the ability to split push with Swiper if they choose. Ryoma can go to side lanes as well and influence that. Camille has a knock-up, and they've got a bunch of knock-ups for that alone.
Well, Delpain is actually hanging around the top side. There's going to be the slice, the dice, and the flash from Swiper to get him out. Delpain's been very active on the map early, just constantly having a little bit of presence, having a little bit of threat.
Yeah, active but just existing, not really getting anything for it. They get the flash from Swiper, however. Very respectful, I will say, from the top laner of the Chiefs, using it early on into the piece. Doesn't want to take damage, wants to retain the control that he's already started with. And once again, it's a small CS lead, but it's against a Renekton, so you're feeling very good about that.
Having a look at the moment, mid actually a bit of a CS lead going over to G4. Ryoma starting to slip a little bit further behind, does have that level advantage.
Yeah, but he's
Just
feeling
as
real
G4
good in the
was
lane, so it may not be a CS advantage for Ryoma, but he's got the farm and control, rather, of that 1v1. The teleport used by G4 earlier may have been something that shifted the tides just a bit more in his favor.
Babbitt does know where G4 is. Can go over the wall, that Arctic Assault. Knockup goes a little bit wide. They got the Winston's wrap down, looking for the stun, but Delpain's there. A great wind wall block, every bit of damage, but Babbitt flashes over the wall for first blood. Now G4 is going to look to turn it around as a Ryoma, as Chiefs mid laner is on the run.
Has to flash as well on the backside. Ryoma has to retreat. 3 summoner spells used by the Chiefs, and still they die. G4 with the super early and super aggressive flash after the first man dies, to perhaps ensure that the first kill went down, or to stop Ryoma's escape path. And tragically for him, he was the escape path, because Yasuo can go through you.
Unfortunately, a lot went wide for both of those teams, but Ascension's landed the more crucial abilities. Wimble did block the early part of Delpain getting in there, but for the moment, he has got himself at 10 CS lead over his counterpart. Is starting to run away with it a little bit. Ryoma only comes back to lane with 2 daggers, isn't going to be able to get that Zeal on that first back.
And very stock standard early start to this game, really. Just some ganks from a Graves who's been doing well. The Sejuani looked for an opportunity, but Delpain was just around the corner and does so very nicely. Swiper, of course, you're seeing him on your screen, forced to recall between waves. Renekton continuing to pressure, but that's just because Swiper has teleport and needs to get some items. So everything's gone fairly stock standard, as the lanes were meant to, just by the drafts that they've picked for themselves. The one big difference that's resulting in about 1,000 gold lead is the early kill.
Oh, Rocky just about spotted on that ward as Ryoma trying to secure himself the Scuttle Crab. Does need to be a little bit careful, but has got the help of Babbitt with him. Swiper a little bit late to the punch, though. Scuttle Crab will just get given over to Ascension.
Oh, no, it's not.
Oh, smite. Yeah, Babbitt managed to get it. Good job.
Hate to see it. That was very tragic. He tried to do the calculations in his head, Rocky, but he got the maths wrong. So he just loses the camp, and thank you for the leash, says Babbitt. He's just going to go back to his jungle.
And now Swipe has managed to pick himself up a Tiamat as well. Rocky and Swipe will be matched on that shove. So top lane, probably just going to see them shove these waves and then maybe look for a duel with each other, or maybe just look for the roam. Neither of these top laners have teleports yet, but Delpain is hanging around the mid lane. Maybe wants to find himself an opening.
Certainly could as well. No summoner spells for Ryoma, so keep that in mind if the Graves gets a chance in mid, or the taunt connects from G4. That may be all it takes. They've also been able to see Babbitt here through that vision on the top side of the Krugs, and the blue buff being taken by Delpain should set him up nicely, continue that lead he's starting to forge.
He's starting to pull away, starting to steal 2 buffs now off the side of the Chiefs. Destiny goes in with a headbutt pulverize. Demonic Ascension's going to get thrown out. One's rooted up though, and Destiny is so low. Pop will go Lloyd, and down will go Destiny as he flashes forward and is able to secure the kill. A great bone skewer by Ridge, but here comes Delpain. Here comes the damage, and a collateral damage secures the kill.
And 3-0 is the scoreline now. Ascension starting to run away with this very early on into the piece. Chiefs in disarray for the early game themselves. Great start for Southeast Asia, and another great fight that was a 2v2 in bottom.
Ryoma does have that knock-up, but G4 just steps back, throws out the taunt, and we're going to see a replay once again of this play.
And you saw the combo just there. If Pike can hit a hook, Swain can pull him back even further. It's level 5 to level 6 specifically from the Swain here. So Lloyd's got extra burst and extra damage, and you can see it still connect. Raze perhaps could have stood in front there of that Swain ultimate, but he was still going to die regardless. There's a chance that Delpain would have just came in, the same result would have occurred, just with a different champion.
With those picks, Ascension have managed to pick themselves up a Mountain Drakers hit. Meanwhile, in the top side, good ultimate lands through, and Swiper will be able to get himself a kill. No, Rocky flashes out and makes his way out. Ascension lose nothing.
Rocky does stop in a sick pose, though, gives us some cool images to take there. But at the end of the day, he's going to survive, go back to base, and not have teleport. Unfortunately for him, he's actually going to hang around and catch those minions first. Knows that the Chiefs are backing up. Nice chance from the Chiefs.
Now, if you are Chiefs, what are you looking to do at this point? You're down 1,000 gold to Ascension. You know, you haven't really got any item spikes yet. Swiper does have that Sheen and Tiamat, but everyone else is flagging a little bit further behind.
I mean, I don't think they're afraid of getting outscaled or anything. They might be afraid of the mid-game from Ascension if they start to get their items. There's a couple of options for the Chiefs, really. You can sit back and just enjoy the show, continue to scale up slowly and give smaller and smaller leads to Ascension, ideally. Or you can start to unlock a lane. If you're Babip in this case, let's say the Sejuani, you could go top lane, you could start to try and unlock Swiper or get him snowballing, and then there's a serious threat running around on the map. You could look towards mid lane. If you get Ryoma kills on a Yasuo, the same thing applies. So there's still plenty of options there for them. Really, it just comes down to what do the Chiefs want to do as a team.
For any OPL fans watching, and the ones we've got in the crowd right now, you got to keep in mind, you can hear them cheering, that's nice. You got to keep in mind, every time OPL played in day one, they were so back and forth in gold leads, and they always found the fights they needed. Unfortunately, Chiefs were the one team that dropped a win. But even so, their games were scrappy. They were able to pull these gold leads back from larger leads. They were able to lose larger leads as well, to be fair. Ryoma has going to go in with that last breath, looking to put some damage on G4. A taunt comes down, he throws out the cleanses, G4 goes forward. Ryoma doesn't have the damage to boot. Now Delpain's on the way in, does have that collateral damage as well, so you've got to be careful.
This might be a 2v2 here, depending on how the Chiefs want to play this one. Babip's hunting for the Galio. Ooh, that was close.
Justice punches back, there's going to be the knockout going a little bit wide. Babip actually going to go in with that Arctic Assault. Now he's going to back off. Nobody goes down in the mid lane, but a lot of scrapping.
And the cleanse used by Ryoma is the only big thing you could take away from that one. It does mean that Delpain could consider coming back towards the middle lane again. It's a low cooldown summoner spell. You'd use that between the flash, certainly.
Oh, Swiper.
G4 teleport. They might just dive and get the ultimate off.
Does have that hook shot.
No.
He's going to go forward. Here comes the hero's entrance. Babip's on his way up. Flash back as Rocky, with that Dominus, might just find out the Sejuani now. Great Arctic Assault over the wall.
Yeah, very good from the Chiefs to disengage quickly. Now, Ascension, you could see the play. G4 was teleporting from base regardless. He chose top lane to see if he could get a combo going. Now, of course, Babip's going to spot the ward finally that has been plaguing him every time he touched this Croak camp. Things starting to look
a value
okay.
ward.
That was. It absolutely was.
Provided a lot of vision for Ascension. And while we're on the topic of vision, let's have a little look at the current warding, the current state of the map. Couple of aggressive wards by Ascension, slowly creeping forward into Chiefs jungles. I might have to hold that fort. Delpain decides not to go for the gank.
Yeah, and I think the vision may even just be a little... Oh, hang on. All right.
Swiper looking for Rocky. Ultimate goes a little bit wide by Babip, but the lockdown doesn't matter as Swiper picks his first kill up. Now G4 looking for a taunt onto Ryoma. It's going to get knocked up, but they're not going to chase for that.
They're threatening the dive bottom. That's a teleport ward placed, but there's no one to teleport but Lloyd.
Watch for the hook. It is going to land onto one. Razor's putting that damage out. There's going to be the cleanse. Collateral damage could put all they need as Rich does have that death from below. Can't quite get to the execute ability. Ryoma go 1v1 with G4 once again. Two Steel Tempest going a little bit wide.
There's just spells missing left, right, and center in the middle lane, but Ryoma still retains control. So Babip can go towards the Rift Herald, take that down. The kills also happened in the top lane, but Ascension have still made the team play, and whilst they didn't find the kills in the bottom lane, they still find themselves the objective and a good start with the first turret.
Yeah, first brick goes over to Ascension. We even see Rocky teleport in as G4 actually is ignited in the mid. Constant action, and here comes Lloyd. Did complete that teleport. They've got a collapse coming through from Rocky as well. That's going to be the flash. Demonic Ascension. Windwall comes out. Destiny just trying to buy time. He will be the sacrificial cow. And Rocky gets the kill.
Very dead is the Alistar in this situation, but Destiny knows it. If he tried to flash, he would have found the claw from Swain, so it was very smartly thrown from Lloyd. And he would have sacrificed his life. So make sure the carries stay alive. And mid lane, remember, still complete control is this Yasuo. Constantly trading, constantly fighting. The Conqueror does do a great deal of damage.
Now he's got that Zeal and a dagger. Attack speed boots ready as well. Building towards that PD. Are we going to see the Sterix second, which we saw yesterday? Or are we going to see this Infinity Edge and go all damage for Ioma? Just want to get these kills, want to get these bursts before he even needs to pop a Sterix.
Yeah, we've seen both kinds actually through this tournament. 2 Yasuos played, one with the Sterix, one going for the Infinity Edge, but the Sterix did a little bit better, in my opinion, I would have to say. Both, unfortunately, I believe, losing, as one of them was an LJL side, and they lost all of the games yesterday. Nonetheless,
unfortunate, yeah.
He still scales. Nonetheless, he's still going to do a lot of damage and be relevant, and the composition supports him a lot right now.
Well, just had a bit of a lane swap here as Raze and Destiny are up there on that top side. Ryoma just constantly aggressing forward onto G4, constantly trading with him, just trying to poke him down. But with that Rod of Ages now, G4's got a little bit extra health.
Swiper's feeling it. If he's sitting in the bush, he's waiting for spells to be used. And if the spells get used, he can find an opportunity to trade. Hook shot from the bush is very hard to dodge if you're Rocky.
Only problem for him is all of his teammates are on the other side of the map, apart from Babip now, who has just made his way down towards him, but
he's got the Herald.
Has got that Herald, like you said. There's a lot of blue vision towards that top side as well.
You know, personally, I would like to see Swiper and Babip on that Sejuani go to mid lane together. You've already got control of bottom. It's not going to be a kill or a turret by any means if the Renekton is there. But getting rid of that mid lane outer turret will do wonders for them opening up the map, because as it currently stands, Ascension are about to find themselves 2 turrets up to 0.
Ascension definitely playing this well, and they're looking for Rocky. Going to go underneath the tower for him, and he is going to throw in the ultimate. Rocky has the dominance on, and he's trying to make his way out. Swiper is tanking the tower, and once again, Rocky makes an escape.
Yeah, so they will choose to put the Herald in the bottom lane. It will secure a turret. I can't help but feel like they're left wanting as an end result from this fight. You'll take it, you'll get the gold, you'll continue to scale up, but they're now 2,000 down and a Dragon down. Not the best start for the Chiefs.
Archangels is finished up on Raze. Ryoma is now sitting on that Phantom Dancer. He's feeling comfortable. Throws out the wind wall a little bit late. It's 4 members hanging about. Rich is going to throw out the Bone Skewer, but it looks like the rest of the team chasing down. Ryoma does have knock-up. Great dodge out with Deep Water Dive from Rich.
Yeah, a nice little dodge there from Rich. And you can see the pressure in this middle lane. The Windwall still did a lot of work from Ryoma, but at the same time, Lloyd is showing that he is a real threat on this Swain. The Pike has been hitting the spells. Adele Payne's been doing very well in the jungle role, getting around the map quite nicely. The one place that seems to continue to be a cause for concern is the top side. Is that Renekton against Camille? You already feel like, and we're not even at the Trinity Force for Swiper yet, you already feel like Renekton's starting to struggle.
Renekton definitely starting to struggle, is working towards that Black Cleaver, but Renekton's famous for this early game, likes to just stomp level 1 to 6, and then after that he does fall off a little bit, depending on how far ahead he's gotten. But Swiper, on this Camille, he's quite content. 2 items, Camille really becomes a menace in the split push.
And granted, Babip's been there a lot, right? Has been making a great deal of difference in that top lane, starting to set Swiper up. And what you said earlier was, what can the Chiefs do to find themselves still in this game? And I think we answered our own question there. Babip can go towards a side lane, start to get something snowballing. He's chosen Swiper to do so. And I mean, Swiper so far has had an outstanding tournament. Why not focus his lane?
Ascension 4-1 on the scoreboard for the moment, 16 minutes into the game. And with this pick comp, they've managed to find themselves a couple of picks, but the lack of engage, like you highlighted, is always going to be a problem. And if Chiefs are able just to perfectly execute, the fight, you feel, will just go massively in favor of Chiefs. Do have to keep in mind, though, Swain being that kind of bruisery mage, sustained team fight monster, is Ascension's final hope, really.
Yeah, he's also a big part of going forwards for them. If they get a numbers advantage or they find a pick or an opportunity, they still have got the ability to pick someone off with crowd control. It's just that it's not a very basic and simple front-to-back type of comp. They do have high execution requirements in the 5v5. Now, speaking of that, they've completely avoided any kind of 5v5s. They've sent side lanes.
We say that, Babip throws in the Glacial Prison onto Rich. There's going to be the Hero's entrance, looking to knock multiple members up as Lloyd stepping forward at Dominic Ascension as Swiper is on the back. A 3-man knock-up into a 2-man last breath. Ryoma's somehow alive. That's going to be 1 for Chiefs. Rocky gets locked up and locked down, but I don't know if they can chase for more. Ascension are on the run.
Trying.
Raze flashes forward, Rune Prison gets the kill! That's what we wanted!
Big plays from Raze and Chiefs on the back end. They get the kills, they get the wombo. They're still looking.
Swiper! Flash, 2-man headbutt pulverized! It's a double kill for the Rise, and Chiefs, they are going forward. They are finding their fight.
And it's still happening. The turret tanked by Bubba barely gets out alive. But the dive continued, the threat continued, and they get exactly what they were after.
Oh, Rise needs to be careful. G4 going forward very, very low. Delpain 1v1 versus the wall. You can't do that anymore. They nerfed that. Delpain.
I hope he's just wondering what went wrong. Record scratch free.
I haven't played Rise since 8.8.
Wondering how I got here. Rise having a bad day just there. Yeah, it's just a little detail. The Chiefs still come out with a winning trade in the end. And watch Destiny in this fight, because it starts nicely. Raze is machine gunning damage, but the Patience hasn't used Pulverize, still hasn't used it, and waits until he finds 3 targets for the Yasuo to get that combo off. He knows that is the combo, and Ryoma trusts him, so they wait together and they get it done. So they win that first trade. Swiper immediately goes towards a flank near the Raptors, and Raze just big plays individually. Of course, we'll pretend he didn't die at the end afterwards. How good was Raze there? And
how
the
good
follow-up,
was
of course.
Swiper there as well?
Yeah, getting that nice little flash afterwards. And again, Raze still sniping with skill shots. It makes Rise look like he's targeted.
Well, even though they did get that team fight win, Lloyd will still be able to drop that turret in the mid. All of the tier 1s now for Chiefs have dropped down. 2K still in the pockets of Ascension. They're still ahead for the moment. And it looks like we will be getting an Infinity Edge build from Ryoma. He has got himself that BF sword, although he's sitting on a long sword as well, so a couple of options. Maybe a Bloodthirster.
There's a build your own adventure build currently. Not actually sure which one he'll be going towards. We've seen some Guardian Angels come out of Yasuo's. We've seen the Serix Gauge, we've seen the Infinity Edge. Right now he's just got a variety bucket of all of it. So we'll give him 5 minutes and
pick a mix.
Find out soon.
Do you have pick a mix?
Have a what?
Pick a mix.
No idea what that is.
Oh man, you have a Woolies, but you don't have a pick and mix. I was
yes,
shocked.
Woolworths
has been closed for 10 years in the UK, and they were famous for pick and mix, which is like just a big wall of sweets and a paper bag, and you just put whatever sweets you want in the bag.
Sounds like the cinemas.
I mean, yeah, cinemas are famous for it. Now, Swiper does still need to be a little bit careful as Rich finds himself a Bone Skewer. Is also going to get that stun down, but getting locked up by Rich. A massive ultimate comes down. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Ryoma goes straight onto Delpain, but a heroic entrance will scare him off. It's a lockdown onto the Swain, though, as Lloyd is in the middle of it. Swiper now enters in with the Hexatech ultimation, but Chiefs are starting to bleed, are starting to run low, but that does not matter. That means squad. Rocky flashes on. He's going in for more. Swiper's so low. G4 somehow stays alive. A knockup for Ryoma will dissuade them to chase anymore as Raze looking for the Q, looking for the damage. Ascension, get a fight.
Yeah, 3-for-2 trades, the end result here in favor of Ascension. They find a team fight. 5-0-1 is the Graves right now for Delpain. He's popping off in this game, and you're starting to see a lot of the zone threat that they potentially have if their composition, again, like we mentioned, doesn't wombo, but still has damage dealers being protected by things like the Galio ultimate, like the Swain, circles of AoE that could just threaten to kill you. They get that fight off. Still expertly played by Ryoma. I will compliment him on the backside of that. However, Ascension win the fight.
It's going to be the Infinity Edge from Ryoma. He just picked up his second BF sword. Ray's now sitting.
End of Amp Scepter, mate. Work
End
it
of
out.
Amp Scepter. Ooh. He's just toying with me.
He is.
He really is playing the pick and mix.
To be fair, you've got... Oh no, we have the permanent stopwatch noise. Let's avoid Destiny at all costs. Back.
Morella Nomicon. I've never noticed that bug.
Wait, it's not Destiny. Who is it? It's Lloyd.
Maybe it's Raze.
Let's just watch Swiper. Let's avoid all of the potential zone use noises. I'll be happy.
Well, Chiefs, the last 2 Drakes in a row.
Right, it's Rich.
Have been able to pick up the Drakes, and this will be a Mountain Drake for them. Denying that second one away from Ascension. That's pretty big. That is really annoying. I'm glad you raised that to me.
Can't unhear it. Yep. And I'm not sorry even a little bit.
Well, I'm just going to let the audience listen to that wonderful hum.
I don't like it either.
It's horrible. Ryoma is going up to topside. There are 3 members of Ascension hanging around.
Stop it!
The observers are playing with us right now.
Remember, they've still got the combo here, Chiefs. Destiny, if he could find the target.
Yeah, there's going to be a bone skewer looking for the damage. Destiny's very, very low. Royoma was hanging on the other side of that wall, potentially looking for the last whisper.
Follow the golden child is disengaging towards the middle lane. Rich continues to make annoying sounds, but Ascension have got control of the map. It's only 1,000 gold, roughly the difference, around 2 now. Still in a good position as Chiefs, trying to scale up, but even better, Ascension have momentum.
Well, you can see the gold on your grass right now. A massive lead for Delpain in the jungle.
Also
but it matters nothing because Ryoma in the mid. He's got himself a pretty big gold lead, 2.5k over G4.
Yeah, Ryoma's a very big deal. Now, Swiper does have a gold disadvantage. You can see that there. It's not a significant amount, but it's also a Camille into a Renekton. So whilst that gold differential is visible, it doesn't feel like it. Camille still scales up with damage. Dead set.
It's Lloyd. Lloyd's the golden boy.
I swear to God, it's just the map. Like,
well, Rocky is going on to Swiper, trading with him. Just going to use that hook shot to get out. Swiper, sorry, actually having a bit of a hard time now. That Titanic Hydra and that Black Cleaver has been finished up for Rocky, while Swiper hasn't actually finished his Titanic Hydra
But speaking of, he's going towards the Titanic Hydra, not the Ravenous. So he's going towards a bit more team fighting, perhaps. Looking to group up with the team as... Thank God. I'm going to meditate after this game.
I'm going to need 5
minutes.
minutes.
Feeling zen with all of the constant ringing.
I'm going to close my eyes to sleep tonight, and all I'm going to hear is the sound of Azonya's hourglass.
Infinity Edge is done as well for the Yasuo.
I was correct.
He's got his big item spike. I look forward to seeing where that Vam Scepter does go if he wanted to shred tanks on the opposing side, even just health stackers like the Renekton. And Blade of the Ruined King would be magical for him.
Could go QSS as well.
Yeah, Mercurial's definitely a big deal, but he has the cleanse, so I do wonder where he'll go.
Yeah, you're very right with the cleanse. Or he could just go for a big burst of fat damage and get himself that BF sword. But either way, 2 items Royoma now sitting on that 100% crit. 15% of that damage gets converted into true damage as well.
You know what we do have here is Sejuani with a Zeke's completed. Could be working on the Yasuo to give him a bit of extra damage. Of course, Sejuani engages with the ultimate, so we'll start the procs off. And the Song of Fire and Ice commences.
Babbitt is standing on a ward. Great taunt comes down. Delpain's looking for the damage. The knock-up is there. Ryoma is hanging over the wall. They throw the ultimate down, but do not commit for more. Lloyd is always a threat. Rich stepping forward with that deep water dive. Here comes G4 once again.
A great threatening from Ascension, not really committing themselves to a fight. You don't really want to start a fight onto a Sejuani, but if you can take half of his health away, then absolutely start that way off and set yourself up for more so control around the river. Remember, we're 26 minutes into this game. Baron is up, and Swain is definitely visible on the map.
And there's no vision for Chiefs around
okay,
here.
we're staying in this. We've solved the problem. We haven't solved the problem.
Chiefs definitely know, but Ascension are wanting to start this Baron up. It's 26 minutes on the clock, and it will go down pretty quick to this team comp. Chiefs
They're just
actually
recalling.
have one recalling. They don't even know this is happening. In comes the Realm War, maybe looking to deliver some people in.
Babip will have to just steal this, I think, if Ascension commit themselves to it. No Yasuo.
Doesn't have ultimate either. Yasuo is absolutely miles away. 3k health over Babip. You need to make a miracle play happen. It's 2.8k.
They don't have a lot to stop him.
Chiefs are trying everything they can.
Look
They're
at the
hanging around the
caution.
edge. Ryoma's here, he's going in, no, does not get the steal, and that's going to be the knockup. Massive Yasuo ultimate just shreds through them. Chiefs find themselves the first kill. It's going to be a 2. Everyone on Ascension is falling apart. It's starting to die, and it's a 4-for-1 for the Chiefs.
Destiny comes up massive, and Ryoma follows it brilliantly. They get the team fight, and they're just really unlucky that they don't get the Baron in what was effectively a 50-50 trade. Chiefs, they take a risky recall for Ryoma, inexcusable as well, but it doesn't matter if you can team fight like that.
Absolutely huge knock-up by Destiny. Gets Ryoma into the fight, gets that damage down, and they're going to be able to take themselves 2 turrets in the mid lane.
And that's perfect. The 2 turrets, a lot of gold that will be given to the Chiefs roster on the backside of getting those kills. The only threat that remains is a single Baron buff, I believe, that will still be running around. So a little bit of time left for Ascension to work around their jungler, who will have the buff. And note that he's got that Storm Razor done, so he's pretty big, as Destiny's the man to watch. Saves the Pulverize for such a long time, and this is something we've seen from him in more than one fight in a row now. Of course, Roma playing this one out brilliantly. No wind wall on the backside, may have been able to survive, but Graves has that damage. And there's just too much damage from Chiefs overall with Swiper and Raze in the mix.
Now, Rusty, one of the things we highlighted before this game started was if this game is won by Chiefs, it keeps LJL in. If Ascension win this game, LJL are out. But one thing we didn't hit on is if Chiefs win this game, this will put the OPL ahead of Southeast Asia in the standings for first. And I do believe, I'll have to double check whether or not they can do it, but it looks like a fight's starting to break out. Raze with the lockdown onto G4. He is starting to chunk him through. A great ultimate from Swiper. Delivers him onto Delpain in the back. That's going to be 1. That's going to be 2. That's going to be 3, baby. And Chiefs come up huge.
And a complete whitewash. The Chiefs just put in work. They get the team fight. Barbib starts it with the ultimate. Swiper does have a lot of damage now. Decides not to do the dragon at the last second. They're going to push mid lane. They're going to commit themselves to the push, and they're going to send just the Seju. I know he's changed his mind again. You know what? Make
like
it
a
up.
yo-yo.
He's back. We're doing dragon. We've got the lane assignments. Another big fight for the Chiefs.
Have to keep in mind, Lloyd is still there to defend, and we've also just had Rocky base, but with the Mountain Drake, with that Infernal Drake, with a Yasuo who's starting to stack up and starting to get strong, structures are just melting to Chiefs.
Yeah, the inhib will go. Chiefs should be able to disengage. One thing we didn't hit on too much that you can now notice is that, oh my god, have we changed target that has the zonies on? No, we have. Okay, thank God. There's an Essence Reaver for Rocky. That's the thing that I wanted to point out. So Renekton's one of those few champions that uses the Essence Reaver excellently because you start most of the fights with your ultimate up and you hit that W. If it's empowered, you get 3 auto attacks off. So you get back to having it again very quickly. You literally slice, dice, W, slice, dice. If things go your way. But they haven't been, so he's not really getting to do any of that.
Could say they were on a rocky road.
I'm not going to give that a response, actually.
I definitely heard the crowd boo at me. That was low-hanging fruit. We are seeing Royoma build towards that Jaggerum's Fist, so probably the Sterix for him now. I don't expect to see him build that Titanic Hydra.
Yep.
That'd be a questionable build.
As you said it, he went for the Sterix, so you're correct. And of course, saved the Vamp Scepter and just left it there as a Vamp Scepter.
Just wanted a bit of lifesteal in his pocket.
A good team player would have sold that Doran's Blade for control ward slots right now, but we move on. We move past that. He does want the health, I guess.
He's a Yasuo player.
What are you
Can't
implying?
ask for too much. You know what I'm implying. I don't have to say it. Swiper pretty much uncontested on the bot side of the map. Camille very good at taking the turrets in the map. Auto attack, reanimations, jiggy-maduggies she can do.
Resets.
Resets, that's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. Swiper also does have that GA as well. That's going to be very, very big for him in a fight. Means he can dive aggressively into the backline of Ascension. Yep. Almost fearlessly, knowing that he'll have that revive in his back pocket.
Swain's audibly in range, for those that are wondering. Now they're going to try and defend the inner turret in the top lane. It's not going to be one of the easiest turrets to defend. In fact, it's one of the...
Just getting chunked out by Rocky.
Oh, that Essence Reaver doing work.
It's doing a lot of damage. A hook shot's going to get stunned up, and Swiper cannot do a lot. Trying to get the damage out, but he manages to delete him. What happened there? Doesn't even matter because they're turning it on. It's a one-man knock-up as in comes the hero's entrance. In comes the damage. Chiefs starting to fall apart, but it looks like Ascension are pumping it out. Or pop they go. Ascension, X marks the spot. It's a double kill for the Pike.
He's still going.
A 2-man taunt goes a little bit wide as the Justice Punk connects onto Babib. He's going to work it through, but Raze gets a triple kill. Raze is going to find himself a quadra kill.
Big fight from the Rise. Chiefs may have just done enough to push it down mid lane. They've got the super minions coming. Swiper absolutely demolishes turrets, and I feel like the Chiefs have done it.
I cannot believe the damage Raze just did there. Same with Swiper, both of those just completely deleted people. And like you said, these turrets are starting to fall down really, really fast to the Chiefs. And at 32 minutes, they have found their opening, they have found themselves a game, and they have kept LJL in the runnings.
Of course, we have to end it with the sound of Azonius as well, but the Chiefs come out on top with that victory. At 32 minutes, that's a pretty solid timing for them in the game. Scaling champions, good team fights, but even the split push from Swiper fighting the 1v1 gets himself that kill. Individual stuff here from the Chiefs was outstanding, and that was probably one of the best rises that I have seen at this tournament, and it was from an AD carry.
I completely agree with you. Fantastic showing up on the Rise. But, I mean, Swiper played out of his mind again. We've been singing his praises throughout this entire tournament.
We have.
Been on the Kled mostly, but now we get to see him on the Camille, and he was really doing well. Royoma on the Yasuo did die a lot in the fights, but he did what he needed. so Raze could then tidy up for him.
And to me, if I was looking at the Chiefs in this game, I would still be giving the MVP over to Destiny personally. They built a composition where the Alistar Pulverize starts the combo, and we saw 3-man Pulverizers into 4-man Pulverizers, and you know, we can credit Raze for his performance, which was outstanding. But Destiny was the start of the big team fight, you know, saving the Pulverize for quite some time, throwing it at the perfect moments.
I mean, everyone, when I came over here, everyone said there is one support you need to get your eyes on, and is Engaged champion. So that player, is Destiny. Seen him on the Rakan, made some insane engages, made some great wombo combos for his team. Now he plays the Alistar, and it was superb. That 5-man knock-up in the Baron pit, into the Yasuo ultimate. It looked absolutely clean there from Chiefs. It was a bit of a shaky start, but from 20 minutes onwards, they had that in the bag.
And it was a shaky start. You know, you have to give some credit to Ascension here. You don't want to just say, you know, they lost, that was the game. They did start well. I think the bottom lane looked decent from them. Lloyd in particular looked pretty solid. The Pyke was hitting all of the spells, and overall, I think the same thing can be said about them that we've been saying a lot through this tournament. They picked a hard-to-execute composition against a fairly simple style of composition. When you look at the Chiefs, Pulverize, Yasuo Last Breath. Very simple, and you just have to execute on it. Whereas for the opposing side of Ascension here, harder to execute and harder stylistically to play out. The Chiefs just mapped them.
I mean, Ascension did play very well, but it's not all lost for Southeast Asia. They will not be able to get first in the Grand Finals. They don't get first seed going into it, sorry. OPL have now locked that in quite comfortably. So for all the hometown favorites coming tomorrow, you get to see side selection for the OPL. But Ascension still have another game to play. They still have more to prove.
Yes, they do.
And Southeast Asia definitely do not want to be going down to any of these games because LJL still in the running. We'll have to find out exactly what will be happening because after the break, it will be Maneski taking on Legacy Gaming. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you shortly.